be like, oh, I don't go 50-50. But it's like, all right, so if you and your man make the same amount of money, right? But only your man is the one that paying all the bills. How you ever gonna save up to like buy a house or buy a business? Cause he's never gonna be able to afford to. So it's like certain things is like a joint thing to do. It's like a work together. But I just be feeling like sometimes people, like the internet really be having people fucked up from like real reality.
I think this is needed. Some people might say that Cardi B is part of the problem because she came out with that rap song WAP a couple years ago in which she said that I don't cook, I don't clean, but I still got this ring. So some people are saying like, well, why are you going back on your word now? But I mean, I think it's needed. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that, I mean, you made a good point. I didn't think about those lyrics. Now, most middle-class households are dual income.
I was about to say that.
And contrary to popular belief, a lot of times, most of the time, both parties contribute equally or almost equally to the household expenses and things that need to be done in the household. Most people are not living the lifestyle of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
They can't.
It's not the case. They can't.
I like the fact that she's being honest now and letting a lot of women know that 50-50 is the norm in the U.S.
Right.
And it kind of helps bring down the delusion a bit.
So it's like, all right, so your mom and dad used to work every single day, right? Mm-hmm. So your mom and dad used to work every single day so your mom could save her money and buy purses and your dad just pay all the bills. That's not how it works. It's either your mom was in the house cooking and cleaning every day, your dad was working, or they was both working to pay both the bills. Like, y'all be acting like y'all don't know what the that is like no more. Like, come on. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm not a feminist anymore because it's like, sometimes it's like, y'all bitches don't be living in the real world.
Right.
Y'all not living there.
I actually don't have an issue with a lot of women not wanting 50-50 or not even liking 50-50 because at the end of the day, it's a preference. You're allowed to have a preference. The issue I have is when they prescribe it to every other person and act like that's the norm across the U.S. because it's not obtainable for a man. Because think about it, most people make what, 40 or 50K? You think the average person who makes 40 or 50K, a man is going to be able to pay for 100% of a woman's bills? No. That's not even realistic.
No, it's not. It's not. And to add to that, I think Cardi B had a good point when she was talking about how social media is the root cause of this.
Yeah.
I think social media is making people conflate the exception as being the rule, meaning that people are starting to look at the top 10% lifestyle and make it seem like 90% of people should have that and will ever have that when it's not going to happen. The exception is living a top 1 to 10% lifestyle, being a stay-at-home spouse, let's say, and the other spouse works full-time and takes care of everything, while the other person gets to kind of live a plush lifestyle. When really the reality is that 90% of people are never going to have that.
At all.
Ever. So it's like 90% of people, as we just talked about, are going to be part of 50-50 households.
It's weird to say I'm head of household because in this household, we split everything 50-50. But in the other households that each of us have to support, it puts there's always this like gorilla on your back that it is like, you better work, you better work. You know, you gonna sleep in? You know, somebody might not eat.
Yeah, unless you live in the top 1%, I mean, it's not going to be normally 100% on the guy. I get the appeal. I don't blame him. Listen, it sounds great. Think about it. You know, you stay home with the kids, and anybody who's ever worked with kids, having kids is a job by itself. It is hard. So I do give them that. But I mean, like I said, it sounds good. You know, they take you shopping. You get to not have to deal with a lot of BS that comes with work, a lot of water cooler talk. Or, I mean, a lot of people are remote now, so maybe remote talk. I don't know what you say. But I get the appeal. And I don't think, like I said, I'm not against people who want that lifestyle. I'm not against men who provide that lifestyle. I think that's fine. But it's just not obtainable to the majority of people. And when you have that, when you set that as a must, right? It's fine to have something as a preference. Preference is completely fine. But when you set it as a must, you're literally eliminating probably most of American men, if we're being real.
Yeah, you can put it on your vision board.
Yeah.
And have it as something you aspire to attain. But if you make this like, I'm only going to have this, if not, that's it. Well, instead of playing 50-50, you used to paying 100% of things because you're probably going to.
I was about to say that too because, like I said, a lot of people have a problem with it. They're like, oh, I don't want to go 50-50. But I'm like, well, so if you're by yourself, you're paying for 100%.
Pretty much.
And if you're going 50-50, you're paying for half.
Right.
Which one sounds more expensive to you?
Exactly. Well, they're going to say, well, I don't want to. I'd rather be alone and not have to deal with the other person and deal with that headache and that. That's what they're going to say.
But even in situations where the guy pays for 100% of everything, it's not like you still do nothing.
Right.
Because as I mentioned before, watching the kids is still a job by itself. Cooking and cleaning is still a job by itself, especially if you have kids. You have 4 or 5 kids, that's going to be a lot of mess. Like, you're still not doing anything. So the fact that social media acts like, well, he's just going to pay for everything and then I'm just going to do nothing, and then my money is my money.
Well, again, to add to that point you're making too is this point as well. Living a lifestyle where, let's say, the woman stays at home and the man works and provides, right? That is actually more possible than people might think. It's just that to do that, you have to sacrifice certain things. So you're not going to be able to do that and have this lifestyle.
I get what you're saying. You're just not going to be living luxury.
You're not going to be living luxury.
Gotcha.
And so people need to be willing to do that. Most aren't. They want the luxury and they want to stay at home and not pay anything. It's like, it's not going to work that way unless you're with like a $500,000 or more man or something. I mean,
because I'm thinking about what you're saying though. If you logically think about this, right? So let's say a guy, he made $100K and he lived in the hood. Okay. Just go with the example. He lived in the hood. Okay. And he had a wife. Right. And he had kids. Places in the hood tend to be what? Cheaper, right? So he could pay for 100% everything. You're just not living nice.
Right.
So it is doable.
Yeah. And again, you don't have to live in the hood. I get the example, making it extreme, but like, look, you can like live on the outskirts of a major city, or you could live in a house that's just big enough for you and the family. Maybe your kids share a room, and you drive one car because you stay at home. Your husband has a car, and that's it. And you budget every dollar, and you just live within your means, and you don't go on luxury vacations.
I was about to say, you're not going on crazy vacations. You're not going to Mastros. You're not going to all these crazy stuff.
Yes. So I mean, you could do it. It's just not in the way that social media makes it seem like most people can do it.
Yeah, and you probably might not be enjoying your life as much either. So
you might not, but funny enough, you might, because really all that stuff, especially the material stuff, gives temporary excitement and temporary fulfillment, but it's not long term.
But my thing is this, right? So the people that tend to want that lifestyle, though, they're not going to be happy with what you just mentioned.
No, yeah, they won't. But then my hope would be that once they have the kids and
they see that it's fulfilling other ways.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I'd hope. But like you said, I mean, would they? Maybe not.
I just think it's hard for people to go down lifestyle.
That's true. Now, that's a good point you make, too, because how many of them are already living that lifestyle? Well, you know what? Maybe as a single person with no responsibilities, they can give that lifestyle to themselves. Yeah. But having that lifestyle with a bunch of kids, and
not happening.
Yeah, probably not.
But I feel like once you get to the point where you have a bunch of kids, you stop becoming less selfish. Like, you stop needing a lot of that stuff.
Hopefully.
So.
Yeah, hopefully. You know, there's like a trend, or at least there was, called Dinks, dual income, no kids.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say something else.
Well, he's gonna...
No, it's fine. Just keep going. It just sounded very odd to me. Keep going though.
Stands for what the heck?
Doesn't it sound weird, Dink? That sounds weird. But anyway, continue.
It does sound weird. But I'm curious
ignore what I said. You don't want to know what's going on in my head.
Yeah, I don't think I do. So, Dinks, dual income. Now I might make sure I'm saying it right. Dual income, no kids. Yeah, Dinks.
We're Dinks. We go to Trader Joe's and workout classes on the weekends.
We're Dinks. We get into snobby hobbies like skiing and golfing.
We're Dinks. We can go to Florida on a whim.
We're Dinks. We're already planning our European vacation next year.
Dinks. We get a full 8 hours of sleep and sometimes more.
We're Dinks. We get desserts and appetizers at restaurants.
We're Dinks. We can play with other kids and give them back.
We're Dinks. We still do it 3 times a week.
We're Dinks. We spend our discretionary income on $8 lattes.
We're Dinks. We max out our 401ks, Roth IRAs, and HSAs.
We're Dinks. We don't use our kids or dog as an excuse to leave a party. We just leave.
So, and they have this thing online where like they post about how they're really enjoying their life because they have dual incomes, but they have no responsibilities because all they're paying for is their own food, their trips and vacations.
And they're married?
Some of them are married, some of them are just, most of them are married, I think, is a trend, but some of them are just in relationships. And so if you have one person, they're both working. So if you have one person making 80, the other person making 80, they're making 160 combined with no kids, and they split the rent for the apartment. They're living pretty nice, you know? I forgot why I was going with this because the whole Dinks threw me off, but...
No, I was like, what's the point of being married and then not having... I thought that's the whole reason why people got married.
People get married for a lot of different reasons. And then,
I mean, to each his own, right? Whatever, but like in my head, I'm just...
Yeah, and the thing is, too, like, they're young people most of the time. So, yeah,
okay.
They're married and maybe they haven't had the kids yet.
Got you.
So, I mean, people don't normally, you know.
Got you. So, ultimately, do I think Cardi B made a good decision? I'm going to say yes. I think it's good when you have celebrities bring down the delusion, because it's hard for a regular everyday person to bring down delusion, because most people only respect something. Most people only respect something when it comes from someone who makes a lot of money. Let's be honest. That homeless guy across the street tells you something, you ain't listening to him. That person working at a grocery store who's a clerk, you're not listening to him. But that rich millionaire who comes out of a Lamborghini, you listening to them.
I get your overall point, but I will say that, and that reminded me of what my point was. If more, because people that are these dinks are regular people. So if there were more regular people that came online showcasing a happy family life that's quality, not like a person in the hood or in the middle of rural America, like, I mean, unless you want that kind of lifestyle, or lives out in the mountains somewhere, like everyday person with a family, and they show how they budget and how they raise their kids and how they go on vacations because they budget for them, blah, 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 blah. More than like everyday millionaire, like the Dave Ramsey type people. You know, if that was more of what was like pushed on social media, I think that would be helpful, as opposed to, like you just said, hey guys, I'm here in my garage with my Lamborghini. Although, shout out to Ty Lopez. I don't have a problem with him.
He is a moneymaker.
I don't have a problem. He doesn't need money.
No hate.
Yeah, so good decision, bad decision. Good decision for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a great decision.
Yeah, good decision.
So shout out to Cardi B trying to clean up the mess. And decision makers, if you think Cardi B made a good decision, leave a like, leave a comment. If you think Cardi B made a bad decision, you stick to what you were saying before. Leave a like and leave a comment. All right, decision makers, we're out.